Hey, hi, hello, and welcome back to another live stream here with me. This week's topic I really want to tackle is live streaming hard? Now, I know there's lots of different, moving parts to a live stream, but a live stream can really be something from as simple as grabbing your phone, going into the YouTube app, clicking go live, and you can do this vertically or horizontally now, and you can get a really great experience that way, all the way up to the big, production crew, multi-camera, 15 guests, giant live streams. If you have live streamed before or haven't live streamed before, let me know in the chat and we will get chatting. A life on YouTube jumped in earlier and left this comment of, I may be sleeping, and I get that. So, it's one of these things. Amazing Yacht Destination says, good morning from Thailand. It is so early. So early for you. For me, it is 9 a.m. Monday morning. I know for a lot of you it is Sunday evening, but it's so good to see those of you who have jumped in. Amazing Yacht Destination's back with another one, and yeah, we are live, yeah. Chantelle has gone live. Wow. I'm not sure quite what that means. Maybe I don't know. Jerry Papandrea, welcome to the chat. I've live streamed. Yeah, it's one of those things where you either have or you haven't. You always remember your first live. So I remember my first live, and it was so stressful for me. Now I'm in Australia, as you can probably tell by the accent, and our internet here is, let's go with not awesome. Not awesome is the way to go. And way back when I first started live streaming, the internet we had to our house was even worse. Okay, so my first live stream, I used OBS because it was the only software at the time that I could control the bitrate. And the reason I needed to deep dive so hard for my first live stream is my upload speed was 2 megabits per second. So I needed to control the bitrate right back so that it wasn't all, jiggery and shaky and drop frames and all that sort of stuff. And so my first live stream was really stressful. Now, your first live streams can be so much easier and so much simpler, and I want to talk to you about those today. I was just saying basically, oh, yippee, Chantelle is like, awesome. I'm going to be testing out this time slot for a couple of weeks. We'll see how it goes. I want your feedback on if you think this time slot works for you. I would prefer to make it during my daylight hours when my family are not rumbling around the house, but we can work on that. StreamYard's got some cool tools that make it so that it's just a bit easier to keep some of the noises out. And I've just realized something here. There we go. I hadn't checked a box and now I've checked it. If you were here for my stream last week, we had the fun instance of my screen would freeze and a big grey thumb would pop up. Now I've created a short describing how to fix that, and I just realized that I hadn't checked it for StreamYard. And the problem being, you need to go in and check it for every software that you use that uses your camera. It turns out I use my camera in a lot of things. Amazing Yacht Destination says, I have not gone live yet. I'm planning to do it soon and incorporating making videos from it. That's the thing, right? Utilizing the live stream not just for the wonderful community and the interaction you get in the moment, which I personally love. Sorry, I've just seen Creator Classroom's comment of give a thumbs up to make Chantelle freeze. We really lent into that last week, didn't we? So we want to be making our live stream content not just for the amazing people that actually take that time and effort to be there with you at the exact same time as you. And I think that's a special thing. And I personally don't love live streams where the host does not interact with the chat. And everyone likes different things about the live streams. That for me as a viewer, I'm like, I could have just come back and watched this at any time rather than waited up till 2 a.m. my time to be part of this, and then didn't even, like, it was no interaction with the chat. And so for me, and you have to think about this from your perspective, what you want out of it and what you want your viewers to feel out of it. So there is a way to balance this. So if you really want to make your content around the live stream content, you need to pause, say the piece that you want to say, then react to the chat again. And so that when you go back into edit, you've actually got easier spaces for your edit to be able to pull that out. And I think like the middle ground is awesome. Personally, in this particular instance, I'm more of a high ground kind of girl, but for these instances, the middle ground where you get to have the fun interactions of the live stream while also still making reusable content. And I think getting that middle ground of both, the balancing act, that's the fun part where you get to play and test. And you know, it's one of these fun things. Good morning, Home Rapid Repair. It's great to see you. The Creator Classroom says, I didn't see a thumbs pop up when I hit it, so maybe it's fixed. There was a fix, Creator Classroom. I needed to go in and turn off reactions out of, like, when I go up to the top and there's a little green camera in use button. Click on that and remove and turn off the reactions, but I had to do it in every software. So fingers are crossed it doesn't show up today. You let me know if it does, because if it does, then my fix hasn't worked and I'm going to be really sad. Really sad. Jerry says that if there is a live chat, the streamer should really be interacting in some capacity. I 100% agree with this statement. I 100% agree. And sometimes, and I get it, sometimes some people when they're live streaming, especially the bigger streamers, their chats are moving really quickly and they need to find alternative ways to make people feel like they're being heard. Like a lot of us here, we go and watch Nick Niman's live streams. He puts a form in the description so that people can still get their questions answered. And that's a really good workaround. Now, we're not doing that here because so far we're keeping it pretty cozy, so we don't need to worry about that too much. But if the chat got bigger and you had questions you wanted answered, I would definitely do that. I don't see that as in any way a negative way to answer questions. So being able to actually interact and chat with people in the live stream, for me, is the advantage of a live stream. Home Rapid Repair said, learning so much. Week 1 was 0 to 5 live viewers. I love that. I totally love it. I love that you jumped in and you gave it a go, and the first one is always the most stressful. So think of it as if it was going to, become a dumpster fire or totally become craptastic, there's only 0 to 5 people that saw it in real time, right? And you have the option to remove it later. The other thing is you get to learn how to sit and just be comfortable with the process of live streaming. Now, that in itself is an art form. So we all know that when you're learning how to make videos, how to look at the camera when we're talking, how to not look off to the side and watch the viewer, and it's which is really hilarious because I actually don't have a flip out side view thing, and just really making sure that you are making that eye contact. We learn all of these different things on our YouTube creator journeys. We learn how to edit, we learn how to upload. Now we're learning how to do it live. And one thing I will say, after being a live streamer for so long, is now when I'm creating my regular video content, it's not perfect, I'm not going to say that, but I have less takes. So because there's so many times in a live stream when you've just flub it and you're just like, yeah, I flubbed it, whatever, keep going. And I do it all the time. I get tongue twisted and I've got a stutter and all these sorts of things. So things happen when you are so used to not being able to sort of just stop and re-go and stop and re-go from a live stream perspective. It actually increases your efficiency in your video recording as well. Week 2 was an improvement of 1 to 6 viewers. Next week will be 7. The week after will be 10. Just keep it going. Just Give it a good long test. I quite often hear people like, well, I went live once and it was terrible, so I've never done it since. YouTube needs you to keep testing. You need to get out there and keep trialing things. I think 3-month tests are a really great way to think of things, like 90 days. Like do things in a 90-day cycle. You get into the habit of it, you get a little bit more relaxed with it, and then YouTube gets to see, hang on a second, they're going live. We can send people to this live. Their lives are longer than 5 minutes. So by the time we send them, it's better. Creator Classroom says, I agree with Jerry, because the fun of live interaction is knowing the creator sees you. Yeah, that's part of it, isn't it? Is feeling like we've been seen. You know, it's human nature to want to be seen in a conversation. Michael Sahovsky, it's good to see you. Good to see you here. Nick does make us feel seen. Absolutely he does. He jumps through and he says hi to heaps of people. Every now and again he'll grab a comment out of the chat. But to keep things really fair, he does use the form, and I really like that. That's for Mike. Is there a balance depending on how you structure the stream? There's a balance depending on how you structure the stream, but even if you're streaming to deliver content, you can dedicate the end or a portion to talking with the chat. Absolutely, because no matter how you do it, at some stage, if you are repurposing a live stream into a video, you will edit it. You're not just going to download it and then re-upload it. You're going to trim it. You're going to cut some bits out. So making some specific spaces throughout the content deliverable to actually interact with the people that stopped their day and made the time to be there with you. So if you say hi at the start before you get started, you have a little break in the middle where, and it's good for you as well to be able to stop and have a little, shake it off. And I try to sit quite still. As you can see, I move my hands a lot when I talk. So when I'm making pre-recorded content, for some reason I try to be still. I fail miserably, but so it's just one of those things. But you can make these specific points, and as you go through, people will know, oh, we'll be coming up to a spot in a minute, and the chat will get busy again, and it'll keep going, and you can really balance it out. Like Jerry says, it is a balancing act, and you will need to work out how often you need to make these points in for your community. You can even make fun graphics. You could really make the most of the time to get the conversation going and moving. Doug Houston is here. Hello, Doug. I know you're sneaking in at work. Let me just keep scrolling. Lots of people chatting to each other. I love it when you all chat to each other. For me, creating a community is not only about your interaction with me. Creating and building community is about making a place where you guys can all interact with each other as well. People who are watching the same live stream usually have some of the same pain points, or some of the same, issues or questions, or even just some of the same sense of humor or love of a thing, whether it's a fandom or whatever. There's normally something you have in common. And being able to have those conversations within a chat is also an amazing thing. Creator Classroom says it's freezing on her end quite a bit. I will say it's not freezing here, so maybe refresh and check your stream, and drop it down like a quality level. Every opportunity you have to speak publicly, you're improving your skills and delivery. Absolutely. Jerry's dropping all the knowledge today. Thank you, Jerry. But you're 100% right. The more you do something, the better you get at it. Usually. Sometimes you hit a plateau until you learn something extra. So having these times when I can just sit and chat, for me, it's a huge difference between live streaming on this channel than live streaming on my Yarncraft channel. Over on my Yarncraft channel, we've been together for 6 years, every Thursday for 6 years. It is like, even when I'm feeling flat or, I'm having a bad week, I look forward to that stream because I'm hanging out with my people. I'm hanging out with people who love to create things with their hands, people who appreciate handmade items, and who have similar senses of humor as I do. So we just laugh and have a really great time. And here is a little different. I'm still testing out the waters. I'm still working out the balance for this group over here, because while some of you definitely do jump in and say hi at Fiberific, and I love that every single time, I think it's wonderful, it is a different tone here. So I still want to make it fun and light and engaging and exciting, but at the same time it's educational. So it's not just mates hanging out, it's mates hanging out getting better at something together. Does that make sense to you all? I want to get a small prompter 6-inch screen and do my preview infrastructure of the camera as I keep looking away. Having a so basically you're just after a small monitor so you can see your camera. I don't see that as a bad thing, but you just need to make sure that you're not talking at it when you're delivering your content. That's my only thing there, is just to make sure that when I could have sworn I muted everything, I obviously did not. So I'm like, where did that even come from? I'm like, which device? So being able to keep an eye on things, like I'm looking here just to make sure, because I have moved some things around in my studio. I got some new lighting in, so I've moved some things around. So I'm having a look at my framing and just double checking stuff while I'm going. So I'm like looking down at my screen, and this is me looking, like this is how I look when I'm looking at my screen. But when I'm trying to actually talk to you, I want to try and maintain some form of not the eye contact, not the creepy stare and never break contact, where, you know, in real life, if someone that did that to you, you'd be totally backing away, like, please someone come and save me. So looking down and checking the chat and things like that, it's like that natural eye break. So, and that's something you have to remember as well, is when we are speaking with people in the real world, we don't stare unbreakingly into their eyes. So staring at the camera all the time is probably not ideal. So we'll have a little look away and check some comments here. Lots of chatting. Unless you're doing a quick live like Nick did with Friday News, obviously no chat interaction. Yeah, and that's and Nick has his live streams where he interacts with everybody, and then he does the quick Friday lives every now and again. Did he do one this week? If he did, I didn't even see it. I feel like a bad person if I've missed it. But sometimes, especially if it's only like a 5-minute live, if you've started and finished, YouTube have normally only just sent out your notifications, especially if you have not scheduled it. And so it is just a way to deliver some quick and fast content. But if you're expecting people to sit and listen for like half an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, which some live streams go for, some go for even longer. Excuse me. I think Roberto's been going for like 5 or 6 hours. So it's just one of these things where, you know, your live streams can go a really long time. But if you're doing really short and fast, I have my own views on this, which I will share. I will share my views. I'm allowed to disagree with people. For me, the short and fast news could still be done through StreamYard, but as a record and an upload. That's how I feel about it. It's a little 5-minute thing. You could still totally run it like it's a live stream. And that's one of the things I do love about StreamYard and some of the other softwares. Like right now, I am using StreamYard today. I do have a link in the description below. If you want to give it a try for yourself to see if it works for you and your workflow, jump in, have a look, have a play. They're always adding new things to it. But I think for like those little short, sharp, sort of 5-minute here kind of jobbies, maybe just a record in StreamYard and then a straight upload, because the advantages of live streaming is it's live and you've done it. There's no editing, there's nothing. You just let it go into the ether. Off you go, little live stream. Thank you for being born. So that is a huge advantage of live streams, and that would be an advantage of doing a quick 5-minute live, is you do it, you deliver the content, and you're out. And depending on your personality and who you are, you may not be able to just click record and do it like you would do it live and go out. But practicing and having live stream for a long time, you get better at it. So give yourself a break, give it a try, understand if it's not perfect the first time, because like honestly, who does anything perfect the first time? And if you say me, you're being booted out of the chat, because I think you're a lying liar from Lie Town. So yeah, definitely one of those instances where practice makes better. Lots of people chatting about the stream quality, so I'm glad that you're all helping each other out there. Doug is back safe and sound, which I love. Elaine, it's so good to see you. Thank you for jumping in and joining. I appreciate that. Oh, sorry. Okay, so what I meant, it is in front of the camera. Do you mean like a teleprompter? Is that what you're talking about? So I actually have a newer teleprompter that I can actually slide my iPad in, and being on the Mac Mini, I can actually just duplicate this monitor and make it there so I can see it. It is mirrored and it's a bit small because it is the whole screen. And there's other options you can download, like Reflector or Duet. There's lots of options that you can download to actually make it so you can crop it in and make it exactly how you want it. Is that what you were talking about, more than having it as a camera monitor? Oh, the new streams are done for now. Yeah, I didn't think I'd seen one. And I'm like, I do try to keep an eye out. Like, I'm not sure he was still going when I started. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to live stream against Roberto. I don't know how I feel about this. And I'm like, you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. All right. So, yeah. So having I do that quite often when I have a guest, especially. Not so much when it's just me, but when I have a guest, so that I feel like I'm making contact with them. Sometimes I forget, and so I'm like this for the whole thing, like, oh, because I'm looking at their faces while I'm chatting. So actually having them in the teleprompter, and I actually have mine set up all the time. I don't set it up and pack it up and set it up and pack it up. I'm really lazy, so I have everything set and ready to go at all times. So basically everything is clamped to my desk or just sitting just off the desk, right? So my my camera is on a tripod in front of my desk. Microphone clamped to the desk, webcam for my overhand shots clamped to the desk, another microphone clamped to the desk, light clamped to the desk. And otherwise all the other lights are out and away, so there's nothing in the way, and I can move my arms around. The only thing I whack at the moment is this one, but I do have another microphone here that I'm getting better with. It's not my favorite when there's people home, because it picks up the noise from the entire house. It's an awesome Rode NTG and I love it, and I think it was great. But when there's other people occupying your shared space, you need to look at which microphone you're using. James, it's so great to see you jumping in. So if you've got any questions about live streaming and about your live stream in particular, or anything that I'm doing in my live stream that you want to know, make sure you drop it in the chat. Definitely here to answer your questions as well. But I also want to have a talk about the different ways to live stream. So we've got so many options now for live streaming that it can be overwhelming just deciding which way to go live and where to go live. So you need to think about, where is your audience and should I go live there? Okay, so for me, my audience, you guys, are mostly people on YouTube and people learning how to YouTube and learning how to live stream specifically for YouTube. So I don't know a ton about live streaming to Facebook while I still do it. I don't know a ton about live streaming to Twitch while occasionally I do it. It's more just to keep an eye on the screens more than anything else. YouTube is my happy place, so my audience is here on YouTube. But if your audience is over on Facebook, trying to drag them across to YouTube could be trickier. So you need to look at some alternatives. So you need to decide, where is your audience and what would they prefer to see? Would they prefer you to be live on Facebook? Or would they prefer you to be live on YouTube or somewhere else? You need to think about that. So that is your first step. Then you can go to that next step of, how are you going to go live? Do you want to use Facebook or YouTube or TikTok or Twitch's just go live feature? Actually, does Twitch even have a go? I don't think Twitch has a go live feature. Do you want to use a third-party software like StreamYard, Restream, EVMux, Prism, OBS? Like, the list is huge of third-party softwares to help you go live. Or do you just want to use the native, pick up your phone or open up your computer and click go live, choose a camera, choose a microphone, and boom, you're off? Or do you want to get some of the advantages of some of these other softwares? Now, like I said back at the beginning, when I did my first live stream, I needed a little bit more granular control on my upload. So on what what I was sending out, because my upload speeds were atrocious. So I was being told by everybody at the time, so this is 2016, 2017, that because I didn't have a minimum of 5 megabits per second upload speed, I couldn't live stream. I'm that person that doesn't like to be told no. So I thought, there's got to be a way around it. And I found a way around it. Now, it wasn't perfect, and I didn't have U-Butte crazy streams with phenomenal footage. You know what I mean? Like, there had to be some decisions. Okay, I can go maximum live at 720 with a bit rate of 3000, which is really low. Okay, so it is just having a look at what you have, who you want to speak to, and how you want to have yourself seen by them. They're the 3 biggest things when it comes to live streaming. So for us, we're all here on YouTube. So the natural thing to do is look at what are the options for live streaming to YouTube. So go live straight on YouTube, straight up, simple. You can do it from your phone, a tablet, your laptop, your desktop, whatever. As long as it's got a camera and an option for a microphone, you can use that. Super simple. You can even go live vertically now, and it be vertically, and it appear in the short shelf. Is that still rolling out? It might not be everywhere yet, but it's on its way. You've got all of these great things. Oh, poor Creator Classroom, it's so late for her. Good night. Have an awesome, awesome night. Hello, Tech for Your Needs. It's great to see you in here. Thank you so much for jumping in. So, we've got to get the plan in place. You can't just, I'm going to go live. Yes, that's it. Good, let's go live. And then expect it to be some critically acclaimed success. Okay? We have to take our learning steps. We need to take our first tentative steps. So we've got the Home Rapid Repair. I was like, it's not the anything at all. We've got Home Rapid Repair jumping in, having their first steps into live streaming. And it's a little daunting, and you wonder why you're doing, oh gosh, only a couple of people showed up. But you know what? A couple of people showed up. Like, I ran a thing at my local community centre and no one showed up. And I had to pay for the space. And it was a craft thing. It was okay. It was fine. I went home and cried. It was that simple. But here on YouTube, if nobody shows up, it's not like that's it, what a waste, never again to be seen. You still have the content there. You can still utilize that content and send it out in the usual way if you want to. You can download it, you can edit it, you can send it back out to the world. Now, especially with streams with a lesser conversation, one of the big things to remember is if you edit a live stream on YouTube in any shape, fashion, or form, whether it's trimming the beginning or the end, blurring something out, it doesn't matter what you do. If you make any kind of edit, you lose the entire live chat. So if you have a smaller chat or a non-existent chat, you don't even have to think about that. You can get in and cut things out and move. You can do whatever you want, because you don't have to worry about how people are going to feel that I actually ditched all their comments. And I know some creators are just like, whatever, I'm trimming the beginning and the end, and that's it. For me, I like to leave the full live stream because it's part of the community, right? This is your conversation as much as it is mine. It will, it'll get rid of Michael saying goodnight to people and Creator Classroom jumping in and saying goodnight and hello and chatting with each other. It gets rid of all of that as well, and I don't like that for me. So when I edit a live stream, I actually download the live. So luckily with StreamYard, they make it super easy to do. So downloading the live for that. and same with Ecamm and who else? I think you can even download it directly from YouTube, but it's compressed and the quality is not as awesome. But if that's what you've got, that's what you've got. Work with it. It's not nothing. So you can always have so much fun with all of these things, building your community, and you can make some really great decisions along the way. And do you know what? You can also change your mind. You can test something out and be like, oh, this isn't working for me. Oh, but I've been doing it now for 3 months and everyone's used to it. You know what? It's your channel, mate. It's your channel. You totally need to be testing and changing and testing and changing the whole way through. There is no way to learn everything on YouTube and then ride the wave. It is a constant learning process. So as long as you're constantly testing things and trialing things that you like, you don't have to test and trial everything either. This is your channel. This is your corner of the world. You get to do the kind of content that you want to do within the confines of YouTube's terms of service and community guidelines, obviously, but you get to make the styles of content that you want to make. So let's check the chat here. Michael's asking about what's going on with the unsubscribing channels. I don't know. Can you give me some more information? I would love to know about that. Amazing Yacht Destination says, I expect that no one will watch my live stream for a while before people watch. So that is the idea, to make content from it. Absolutely. If you're planning on doing a live stream and you actually don't expect anyone to be there, you can actually think about it differently. Now, going into a live stream, you should always have a plan, right? So if you have a busy live stream and your plan is to answer the questions, that's great. But if you've got a newer live stream like this one, and like others, like the ones that you guys are doing as well, that may not be a great plan. That may mean a lot of dead air and you going, oh, well, there's no one here. So, what am I going to talk about? No, you've got to have a little plan. So for me, for today, my plan was to talk about making live streaming not hard, and it's not hard. So that's what I am. My conversation will continuously roll back to when the chat gets a little bit quiet. In the meantime, the chat's not quiet. So I'm going to jump in here. Tech for your needs. It says, make sure you simplify your processes for a better outcome. Don't overcomplicate things and make a chore. I'm not quite sure what that, I don't know if I know what making a chore is, but I 100% agree with you. Things don't have to be difficult, and you don't have to make things complex, especially to start with. Now, for me, this is it's a very small channel, and you would think, oh, why does she have all this crazy live streaming gear on such a small channel, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to need to get that. No, this is the exact same setup I use on my other channel that I've been streaming on for 6 years. I started with the dodgiest mic in the world. It was so bad. I actually think the first time it was the inbuilt mic in my laptop. Don't recommend. And I had light from a window, but I'm in Australia and it was glaring, so I glow. But my content was still good, so I've left it there. So if you want to go and see my terrible first live streams over on the Fiberific channel, go for it, because you need to remember to compare your beginning to someone else's beginning, not their middle. Because it's so easy to go, oh, I can't stream. I don't have 6 camera angles. I don't have a 4K camera. I don't have a great microphone. I would say the bare minimum that you need for a live stream is a mobile phone with a decent lens on it. So anything in the last 5 years. And add in a microphone if you can. So a little lavalier microphone. There's a ton of options. Or a little tiny mini shotgun like what Rode do. A little microphone, because quite often the microphones that are built into devices are not awesome. But absolutely, you could do it with just the phone and a internet connection. You always need an internet connection to go live. That's a big one. Okay. So Michael's just saying he has noticed that channels he knew he was subscribed to, he has been unsubscribed. few years ago, there was what they called the unsubscribe glitch, where it looked like you're unsubscribed to a channel. So you'd subscribe and then you'd come back later and then you'd be unsubscribed. And it was actually a visual glitch rather than an actual tick the button glitch. So anything, I don't know if it's the same thing now. I haven't heard of anything big happening, but that doesn't mean there's not, because I didn't really jump on Twitter for long this morning before I jumped on the stream. Her real review, it's so good to see you here as well. So many names I recognize from other streams. It's so good to see you. Hardest part of streaming is not having anyone to talk to when starting. Yeah, look, you know, and there's no easy way around that, because if you don't start, no one will join in. And then if you do start, you may not have people at the start, but then you stop, so no one's joining in. So you just need to like start with shorter streams that are you delivering a point of content and go from there. Because you're right, it is hard when there's no one to talk to. And you do sort of have this, I mean, I have this thing in the back of my brain, if no one shows up, no one cares about my content. And that's not true at all. I'm on a different time zone. So it could be that they're at work, or they're in bed, or they're outliving their life, or whatever. It could be something totally not anything to do with me. Usually is totally something not to do with me at all. So making sure, especially at the start, that you have your content planned so it doesn't matter if there's no one there. You can make it like a video. I don't know how you, like for me, when I'm making a pre-recorded video, I try to think of my camera as like one of my friends sitting across the table from me, and I'm having a conversation with them explaining how to do whatever it is. So I try to do that when I'm making a video. And at the start, I struggled because camera work is not, I am much happier not on camera. I was in sound and lighting crews for years, never on stage. So I prefer not to be the person on camera, right? So it took me a long time. I actually started by actually drawing a smiley face on a sticky note and sticking it, just like, I kind of had to crush it a little bit and stick it around my lens so that I would look at the lens and make the eye contact and talk to people. So we all have our little things that we need to get better at. And having no one to talk to, it is hard, but planning that no one's going to be there actually takes the sting out. A job. Okay. And don't make it a job. All right. Okay. So let's change this here. Make sure you simplify your process for a better outcome. Don't overcomplicate things and make a job. Yes. I love it when I can just walk in, flick a couple of switches, say a couple of words. Google actually controls most of my lighting. And so just being able to just walk in and get started makes a huge difference for me. I found that when I very first started live streaming and content creation, I would have to write all the stuff, get it all ready for the content, then actually build my set, because I would actually have to create something in the middle of my lounge room. It was the only space I had. Record it or go live or whatever, check it, and then deconstruct what I'd built in the lounge room before I had to go and pick my daughter up from school. So it was this whole hard process, and to just be like, oh, I don't want to do that today. And then I wouldn't go live, you know, like, oh my God, this is so hard, I'm not doing it. Now I'm just like, oh, I'm going live in 15 minutes. Cool. All right. In I walk, turn on some things, and off I go. So being, and understanding what I did and didn't actually need made a huge difference. I thought I needed a fancy backdrop and all this sort of stuff. I didn't need any of that. I could have just done it from my desk, and eventually that's what I was doing, just doing it from my desk, which is what I'm doing now. This is my everyday work desk that I work on. I've been live streaming every Monday night for about 3 months. I only ever have about 3 people tops. The hardest is that my hours don't work for most of my subscribers. It does make it tricky. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm in Australia, and so I'm on the other side of the world. For me, it is, we're looking at 9:40 a.m. on a Monday morning. And I know that's not what the time is. So it is, I know it's not what the time is for most of you. And I have to make this decision. You have to decide, is my live stream benefiting anybody? So you need to think about those 3 people that are there. Is it worth you doing it for 3 people? I don't know. But are you repurposing that content for down the track? Possibly. Is there any way to change the time that you're live streaming? If there's not, you just need to look at what you can use that content for. So while there may only be 3 people in there, you could be utilizing that time to make some really core, awesome content that you can also drip out on your channel over the week when other people are able to watch it. What are your replay views like? That's my next question for you. Doug's at work, so he may or may not be able to pop in and out. I don't know. For your first live stream, you can make it about get to know you, answer questions about yourself when somebody stumbles into your live stream and they know more about you. That's a really great suggestion. I would say that being cautious about those sorts of things, especially if your channel is small. So especially if you don't have an audience and you don't really know what it is you're doing on YouTube yet. Live streaming, I still recommend doing it and having some fun, but the getting to know you ones, and this is going to sound super harsh and super horrible, but some people don't give a crap about you as an individual. They just want the content. They just want the thing that they need help with. And so while if you're ever on my channels, there's a good chance that you will get to know me pretty well. I'm a little bit of an oversharer. Sorry about that. Not going to stop. There is it's one of those other balancing juggling acts that you need to do as a content creator is how much are you willing to share, or are they just getting to know about what kind of content you're putting out on your channel and what they can expect in the future. That sort of stuff is totally fine. But you just need to balance it out because there could be people in the stream that have been there for 11 billion years and they actually know all this stuff about you. So you're now making this piece of content for just that one person. So it's a trick. It's a bit tricky because absolutely you want new people to know about you and to feel comfortable when they jump into your chats. But at the same time, you still I make live streams for the community that make the effort to be here. All right. So I look at live streams just a little differently than some people do. So if they want to come back and get to know me slowly, that's better for me. So it just depends on what you want and how far you want to go, but never give out information that you're not comfortable with. I've got a video coming up very shortly about block words lists and about the kinds of things you can add in there, so keep an eye on that one. Oh, no worries, Michael, no worries. My replays aren't great, only because my lives are watch parties right now. I love that it helps me build a community. I'm a teacher, so unless I go live 9 p.m. once my kids go to bed. Yeah, it makes it tricky. Having a family and having a job and a life does make finding that time for live streaming just that little bit trickier. Watch parties are also tricky. I tend to find that on the channels that I like to enjoy that kind of content with, I'm normally a member of their Patreon and are doing it off platform as such. Watch parties don't really depend. Obviously, it depends on what you're watching, but they don't really bring in a lot of comments, chatting, that sort of thing, because people are focusing on what they're watching, because you're all watching something together and you're all having a good time. I would actually have a look and maybe do a shorter live stream and maybe have a talk about some of the things you plan on watching, and does someone have recommendations, and make it more into an interactive conversation rather than watching something with people, especially if you're trying to build a bigger audience. The watch parties are more for once you've already got a bigger audience and you're trying to work out ways to incorporate time for everybody. Watch parties are really great for that. But if you're trying to build a community of people that will chat with you, chat together, you need to actually be focusing on the content you're delivering and the chat. So having a watch party means you're all focusing on something else, a third thing. So I would have a think about that. Good morning, modern media makers. Welcome. But yeah, balancing any kind of content creation around a full-time job, a family, and a life, that's hard work. Finding the time with the energy to get in and do something a bit extra, while you know long term it's going to make a great difference, right now you just feel like, oh my gosh, do I even have time for this? Why am I giving my time to this? These are conversations that we all have to have with ourselves. So it's another one of those things. I'm gonna have a sip of my coffee because I've got coffee and it's going cold. Actually, it's stone cold. We'll put that over there and get the water and wash it down. What a waste of a good coffee. I totally forgot it was there. So, are you guys coffee drinkers? Just out of curiosity, I would love to know in the chat, if you're in here, are you a coffee drinker? I am a coffee and tea and hot chocolate drinker. I like all the hot beverages, including mulled wine, like whatever. Warm drink, I'm having it. What is your take on playing clips of your own during the live stream, something like B-roll? If it fits, try it. I am in camp, test it out. If it works for you, like I have a be right back screen, because you know what? Sometimes stuff happens and you need to walk away, but you don't want to end the stream. Because my live streams usually are in the middle of the day, I have courier deliveries, my dog goes off, like stuff happens. So being able just to have a clip that's relevant to be able to throw up. Think of a live stream like a television production, like a live television production, right? So they will have live conversation, live discourse. Excuse me. They will have lower thirds coming up, explaining who's on screen, all that sort of stuff. And then they will bring in the occasional clip. Now, I would make it so those clips aren't too long, so people who are coming into the stream don't think that they've come into one of those streams where there's no one actually there, which I find to be really annoying. But if it's a relevant clip to your conversation and it's your content and you've made it yourself, there's no chance of any copywriting issues, all that sort of stuff. Use it. Do it. Absolutely. Having a special needs child with constant changing schedule makes a constant schedule almost impossible. But do you know what, James? Depending on the content that you're making, that could actually even work for you. Because everybody has different things in their life. Everybody has a different schedule. And your schedule is get everything done, but I don't know when. Because you don't know how it's all going to move around. Like my daughter is not special needs, but when she was at primary school, I could be all ready to do a live stream and then get a call that I had to go and get her because she was sick. You know what I mean? So like things happen. You just need to concentrate on not letting it stop you going forward. I totally understand that you just may not have the energy and or the time right now to do something, but it doesn't mean you can't be planning for when you do have a bit more time. But the other thing is there are other people in your exact situation. So, you know, and they're able to find a balance. And it may not be at the same bat time, at the same bat station every single week. But are you putting out a video or a live stream each month? It doesn't have to be at the same time, because your audience, if you let them in on a little bit of information, will be understanding. Like, sorry, my schedule's not my own. That's all you have to share publicly if that's all you want to share. Your schedule's not your own. I will make content when I can. But as long as you regularly, not as in 9 o'clock on a Monday, but as in once a month at some stage through that month, get some content out, then I can't see it as a bad thing. And also make sure that, you know, if you're going to go live, schedule it out a day ahead if you can. If possible, if you know you've got a day where your child has like additional care or help and you're like, I want to go live on that day. But also know that if you have to cancel it, you have to cancel it. Life before live streaming. It's always been my motto. Life before live streaming. Amazing Yacht says, busy drinking my morning coffee. Nice work. Excuse me. Her real review has said, I have to record 3 reviews once the kids go to see and spend time with the hubby, trying to work on getting the same hours that Beyonce has. Hopefully I'll get to 1K subs this year, 5 years on. Look, I totally understand that drive to hit to the 1K subs. I really do. This channel is not monetized. And as yet, Australia is still not in the YPP light. We're just not. So I am on the same path as you to hit 1K. So if you are in this live stream and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. We all, as creators, know there's no advantage to being a subscriber to a channel anymore. There's none. YouTube's algorithms are so good that even if you're not subscribed, next week when I go live again, YouTube's going to let you know. Maybe a bit late, but they'll let you know. So as creators, the only people that care about subscribers is us. And it's really hard because pretty well everything that YouTube offers is linked to a subscriber account, except there's no reason to have subscribers anymore. So I totally feel your pain on that. And I also get frustrated about it. I also, for my channel, I don't deserve more than what I have. Like some people are like, oh, you deserve to have some. No, I don't. I went off and totally backburnered this project for ages while I was working on other things. And now I'm bringing this back to the forefront and reprioritizing things. So it was my decision to let it go the wayside, and now it's my decision to pull it back into the fore again. But having a monetized channel helps you think of it a little bit differently. My other channel is monetized, and so I think about content on there totally different than I think about content on here, and I shouldn't, but my brain automatically does it. So I have to constantly remind myself, well, this channel is never going to get monetized if I think of it like that. So sometimes it's a brain game for yourself. Just restarted my channel and trying to figure out how to make it work, trying to do at least 1 live per week and making clips and shorts from that. Well, it sounds like you've got a plan. And understanding that your schedule is not your own, and not beating yourself up if you don't make it. That's the important takeaway for you, James, is your schedule is not your own, and you are doing what you can do. And I love that you are trying to get a live out every week, and you don't have to be like, oh no, my lives must be X number of minutes long. A live can be 5 minutes long. A live can be 5 hours long. A live can be any point in between all of that. I just have to check the time there. Any point in between. There is no specified length of a live. So you can just do whatever you can just do and go from there. Thank you, Amazing Yacht Destinations. Appreciate you and appreciate that. James says the only advantage is to get that 1K is for YPP. Absolutely. And you still need the 4,000 watch hours. So I see a lot of people like juggling between the two. And, some people have like 3,000 subscribers, but only, 1,000 watch hours, or they might have, 15,000 watch hours, but only 800 subscribers. And so juggling those two, they never mean the exact same thing. So it's so tricky. I saw this and I'm not subscribed from this account, but I am on another. So the algo works. Absolutely. That's great. So, and this is the thing, like, just because we need people to subscribe for our goals and our arbitrary numbers. Like, it used to be like you needed 100 subscribers so that you could get a custom channel URL. Now you don't need the 100 anymore. You can do it straight from day dot. You needed 500 to get the community tab. Now you can get the community tab with an advanced verification. You don't need 500 subscribers anymore. But you still need the 1,000 for to become partner. And then it was, 10,000 to get access to stories, but stories are gone. And so basically you need the 1,000 now to become a channel, possibly become part of the partner program. To possibly become part of the partner program, because not every channel is accepted into the partner program depending on the content and what they do. So there's always that. But then the next jump is not till like 100,000. There's nothing in between anymore. And that's just your silver play button. Just your silver play button. Who here in the chat has a goal of a silver play button? Because I don't. I've had the goal of 10k subs. That's it. On both my channels. I'd like 10k subs and I'd be doing a dance. I would literally do a dance with my little old lady broken body and share it as a GIF if I got 10k subs. That's what I would do. Once you monetize, subs are just an ego stroke. Absolutely. They're not called a vanity metric for nothing. Absolutely. It came up in my feed. I said, wow, Chantelle, I'll say g'day, because you're not just another Australian. You're another Queenslander, right? Am I right? I'm not beating myself up, which is what my content is mainly about. Oh, I love that. That's awesome. And I'm glad you're not beating yourself up. That's great. Overcoming self-esteem issues. Fantastic. I love it. Telling me I need to practice what I preach. How dare you? Soz, sorry about that. Oh, no. No. I have a stutter and I try really hard to control it, and I'm very lucky that it's only a very minor stutter, but sometimes I get stuck. And so I have to just stop for a second, slow my brain down a little and try again. Yeah, it's not awesome, especially as a live streamer. But I find that the conversations I have with people in real life are worse. And some people are really rude, like, oh, spit it out. And you're just like, are you kidding me? I would have spit it out by now if I could have. So, yeah. People can get a silver play button with a viral short these days. Oh, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. That will upset me. Because I work so hard. Actually, and a silver play button, while it would be really cool, and I would make a space, it would get like a spot here if I ever got one. It would get a prime position in my setup. I would move my Captain America cup. I would, and my Guardians of the Galaxy Awesome mixtape. They wouldn't be taken away. They'd be moved to the other side. But I would make a space for it. But it's never been a goal. I looked back because I keep little, they're not goal sheets, but they're like, what would you do ifs kind of conversations, because I like to be pre-planned, because that's how my brain works. I like to have had conversations in my brain already. And so it's just one of these things that I like to do. So what would you do if I hit 10k subscribers? And it is make the gif of the old me as a little, old lady dancing. That would be it. Because it means nothing to anybody else except for me. And even now, advertisers and sponsors are actually looking more at views than subscribers. Now, there's still some out there like, how many subscribers do you have? Oh, I'm not looking at you. But some of them are looking now more at your views, because they're understanding the content, like they're understanding the platforms that they're trying to get what's the word I'm looking for? Influencers. I hate that word so much. Content creators, they're trying to get the content creators on board. They're understanding the platform they're coming from and seeing that, okay, so this person might only have 2,000 subscribers, but they regularly get 10,000 views. So that's 10,000 pieces of, 5,000 sets of eyes. No, 20,000 sets. I don't even know. Mathing's not working. But there's 10,000 people watching their content regularly. So yeah, let's get our product in front of those 10,000 people, and they're learning from that. My only goal is to become a full-time film critic once I retire from teaching. I don't know what that looks like yet. Well, maybe you need to look at that. I've got some friends of mine that run a film channel. And they all have other jobs, but they have jobs in the industry now. Well, actually, they started out as mates because they all knew each other, because they all worked in VFX houses. And then they stopped working in VFX houses, and now they're working for like Marvel and Disney and different kinds of roles. And it takes time. So, you know, it depending on which kind of content you like to make your reviews and what have you on, you could get in a door another way and then be doing that as a part-time afterwards and be working in the industry, but be doing this as a secondary thing. Like for me, I work helping other creators. That's my day job, is helping other creators. And so working on my projects tends to take a back seat, but I also get to still be part of the creator world. So working with other creators is that's actually my goal. So having my channel is more about showing I'm not a numpty and know that I know what I'm talking about. It's like social proof. Whereas I actually prefer to work for other creators where it's not me on the camera. I really like it when it's not me on the camera. If I got oh man, if you got one, if you ever get one, you should totally make a skit out of it. Like, it needs to be a skit. Oh my gosh, desperately. It so desperately needs to be a skit. Because that cracks me up so much. And just the refusal to order a new one. Like, nope. Even though Nick, it just feels so much like the relationship I would have with my brother. If my brother lost something of mine, I'd be like, nope, that was the one. You've lost it. Now I don't have one. But you can order it. Nope. That would be exactly how I would respond. I had a company reach out to me recently to create some videos of their software, and I only have 111 subs. They saw one of my videos that has over 800 views, and I thought it was a scam, but it turns out it wasn't. Are you making the videos for them? Did you strike up a deal? That's my question for you, modern media makers. Did you strike up a deal? Or did you like, nope, scammers, bye-bye, and then saw that somebody else got it? You should promote yourself a little more. I didn't know about work with creators and what you actually do for them. I actually do a couple of different things for different people. So I'm a channel manager on one channel where I help them basically with everything YouTube. So go through and let them know what content is working for them, looking at their A/B testing for their thumbnails, things like that. For another creator, I actually help them with their paid membership group. So I actually am a member ambassador in their paid membership group. So I'm in there each month. Well, I'm in there every day, but having a little look around, seeing if anyone's got questions that I can help with. And all their members are also YouTube creators. Or course creators. So people making content with videos. So I do a lot of that sort of stuff. I also do some moderating for some people as well, but that's more because I like moderating than anything else. Let me think. For another channel, I am. How do I describe that? So I basically go through and help them next level their content creation. So it's all remote work. I'm not in their studio or anything like that, but I have a talk to them about the technology they're using, where they could step up their microphone, how they could do that, give them suggestions on what to actually use. And I also do virtual live production. So I will bring them in as a guest I actually set them up on my StreamYard account as an admin seat, and that we can stream to their account, and I sit in the back and no one sees me, and I run all the live stream so they can just deliver their content. They can chat with their community, and as they start talking, I bring that comment on, things like that. There's a lot of different things I do for different people. So it basically comes down to, what do they need? Do I know how to do it? Sure. And coming to an agreement. Modern media makers, yes to the deal. But as a small creator, not as much leverage. But I also need to make content, and the software is in its infancy, so hoping to grow together. And sometimes looking at that broader picture as well, you know? Like, as you said, they're in their infancy, you're in your infancy. You could totally grow together. Especially if it's a piece of content that just works for your workflow. And you could even give them, if it's something that you would like to use daily and there's a problem, you can actually come to them with your own suggestions as well. There's a lot in a symbiotic relationship like this where you can jump in and actually have not a say, but have input in like the next steps. Like, I would love to make a video on this portion of your software, but this is a glitchy problem. Is there any way to clean that up before I make it? So lots and lots and lots and lots of options and things that you can do. But yeah, when it comes to what I do a lot. And I was actually, I just put a post out on LinkedIn last week. It might have been, yeah, last week. It was probably last week. Just about how I was time blocking my time for different projects and for different things. And was realizing that for my kind of brain that I have, my time blocking had stopped working. And I was really struggling to, like, not for my clients' work. In my brain, it's like, that's clients' work. That takes top priority over everything. But my time blocking wasn't working for my own content. And so I was like, just like, you know, oh, make a video. And then I'd be like, nah, I'll research a video. And then I would sit in the lounge with my knees up on my laptop researching. And I would do that. That task would get done. But I had a great conversation with a friend of mine. And he said that one thing that he has started doing is actually being really specific in his time blocking. And I was just like, what do you mean? Like, I'm time blocking, you know, 4 hours for video creation, and then I'm not actually recording a video or editing a video. And he's like, yeah, he makes it so that he's going to record this video and then he's going to edit this other video. And I'm just like, well, how's it going to work any better? But you know what? It did. It worked. My brain was like, okay, it's latched onto that video now. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I was like, this is insanely good. It's something so simple to do. And it has meant that now I'm able to make this time for these live streams and make time for video editing of my own content. And, you know, like, I don't know how to describe it, but sometimes working out ways to block your time when you're in charge of your schedule. Like, I want to say that I'm totally in charge of my schedule now. I do not have a school-age child. My time is my own through the day. It's at night is a bit harder when everyone's around, because I need to be mindful that they need to live in this house as well, because it's our family home. So, you know, other than that, and I will say my daughter does not like when I'm up at 2 a.m. modding Nick's streams, because Doug and I chat during it. And she's like, the lights are on. And anyway, a bit of overshare there. Well, lords and ladies of the internet, I'm going to call time. So if you have any other questions or anything else that you would like to know about live streaming or about anything, drop it in the chat now. I'm going to have a drink of water, and then we're going to answer those last questions. So, like, last drinks. Let's have a look here. I use Trello to help manage my workflow and priority, just the free version. I made a video for content creators on my channel showing my process. Yeah, I use ClickUp, same sort of deal. And I have like every step of the way of my content creation with tags and boards, and I love it. Makes it so much easier. And you can import in a content calendar and it all connects together. Love these kinds of tools. I think they're fantastic. And I think especially if you're a person who is batching content, having something on board where you at a glance can work out where exactly you're up to on one of your projects, it's a bee's knees. Absolutely. After I schedule a live stream on YouTube, there's no way in analytics to see if people have clicked on the remind me button. I don't know. I've got a feeling there is. I will look into that and I will let you know next time. Home Rapid Repair. Absolutely. Yeah, I thought there was a way to see. I'm gonna go and have a dig and have a look and find out. But off the top of my head, I don't know. It's not something I focus on for me personally. Okay. If I will have another sip. I've got a very dry throat. Will I be doing this on a regular basis? Yes, I'm going to be testing out this time zone. So it was 9 a.m. Monday for me. So when we started, not sure what time that was for you. I'm going to test it out for a month or so and see how everybody goes. Otherwise, we'll try and tweak it up and change up. I do have some things I have to work around, so I don't have the whole week to choose from. I also don't want to clash with people where I can avoid it. I had no idea that Roberto was going to be doing a special stream today, but Roberto's audience is not my audience, so it doesn't actually matter. But I wanted to watch Roberto's live. But yes, at this stage, this same bat time, same bat station for the next few weeks at least, while we try and work out a good time that fits us all. So, and I'll just keep coming in with little ideas on tips to help you with your live streaming and your video content creation processes. So if you've got any future questions, make sure you drop them in the comments or into the description, into the comments area or here in the chat. Absolutely pop them in and I will try and get onto them for the next stream. But yeah, just keep the questions coming and I'll try and help out as best I can. Oh, that's everyone just saying goodbye to each other, just having a little look, just trying to work it out. Yeah. Amazing Creation says, I woke up to Roberto and then had to switch the stream. Oh, well, I appreciate you doing that. I very much appreciate you doing that. Thanks so much to you all for joining in, and I will catch you all here next week if I don't see you in other streams. Like, I'll be modding StreamYard in about an hour, so see you over there. Bye now.